It's time to build your ark to prepare for the times ahead. Now, I've spoken to many of you guys offline, and it's clear that a lot of you guys have had this revelation. And I've had this revelation for a couple of years now. I've been actively building my ark, and I'm going to explain exactly what this is about, because whether you believe it or not, listen, this is your warning. This is your sign. I'm trying to help you guys in advance, because God is actually giving the world an opportunity to prepare for what is coming. And the things that we've been seeing are a sign of literally not even the beginning, not even the half of what's to come, right? And so I have felt this strong conviction over the last couple of years to get certain ducks in order for the things to come. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you're feeling the vibe and you want to join the tribe, don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. How are you building your ark right now? And hit the like button. So here's where we're going to go with this, guys. I'm going to start by talking why and how and what. First things first. Everybody's talking about the Matrix. Everyone's acknowledging the Matrix and the government and the this and the that. And I've said to you guys before that I think most people are still massively underestimating what this thing is that we're actually dealing with. I think people think it's just a bunch of people in power who want to maintain control over everyone. But no, guys, this is a long-term plot that has been plotted from thousands of years ago, and we are just at a very crucial time, a crucial turning in society. And that's why, if you've noticed over the last kind of decade or so, or I would say really realistically, I'd actually say the last 50 years, there have been a lot of serious changes in the world and how we do things, right? One of the biggest is that we are now more reliant on the government and governmental organizations or big corporations than we ever have been. People don't farm for themselves. People trust in companies to produce electricity. They trust in the government or whatever to get water into your house. You're trusting into other, you trust your income to come through an employer that has to like you and choose you and employ you. There are a lot of people that are in control of our lives. The children are going to school, whereas historically children were always taught in the home or in the community, in the village, in the tribe. Everything, all the power, all the control is being handed over slowly but surely to a bunch of people that have time and time again proven that they're not trustworthy. And that's why I'm saying, guys, that it's time to build the ark, because what's going to happen, I'll tell you this, guys, I'm not going to even hold back. I believe, this is what I believe on a spiritual level. I haven't said this, but I've been in belief of this for a while now, that God's judgment is going to hit the world. Is going to hit the world. And when God's judgment hits, the way it's going to hit, at least in the time I'm alive, is the timeline I'll give. But I reckon, I won't give any times, okay, guys, but soon. Let's just say soon, right? It's going to be one of the biggest moves of God that has been seen for hundreds of years. I truly believe this, and I'll tell you why I believe this, for a number of reasons. Because the number of things that have been built up, right? We're in a place where people don't even believe in God anymore, right? This is like for the first time in history. If you look at proper history, we all get taught in school history from like the last 100 years, right? History goes on for thousands of years, guys. If you look in history, most of history believed in the spiritual world, believed in gods. They have tombs, they have the pyramids, they have old writings and all these different things that talk about these things, right? I was even saying, guys, that there's even when you think about somebody like Moses, right? You've heard of Moses in the Bible. Did you guys know that in, I think it's Greek and Roman literature from, I think it's 1 to 3 AD, I referenced this in another video, that Moses is listed alongside magicians that are also named in the Bible. Moses was listed as a magician. So even if people didn't believe that it was from God, people believed that he was a magician. Think about that, right? So why am I saying all of this? We are on the road to a serious plan to destruction, and every level, the extremes become more extreme. At every level, if you're side of the kingdom of darkness, the fall is only going to be greater. If you side of the kingdom of light, your rise is only going to be greater, right? I'll give you guys a very simple example of one of the things that's definitely going to come. And as soon as this year, this is why I'm even talking about this, guys. It's going to happen in stages, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen fast, right? It's like money, right? So we're losing the gold standard because the gold standard was removed. I think it was in the 1970s. As in, if you don't know what that means, basically we only used to print, or countries only used to print money, especially Western countries, if that they had the equivalent of actual physical gold in. We don't do that anymore, right? So money right now basically practically means nothing. The money that we're all using and we're all killing ourselves for, and keeping silent for, and being sheep for, doesn't really mean anything. And there are already shifts happening in the world. There are countries, a lot of countries in the world are no longer even wanting to acknowledge Western people's money because it has no attachment to anything. Whereas their money might be attached to oil or gas, or, you know, something physical that they have, aluminium, some type of something, right? Even if it's just a crop. A lot of the Western countries don't have that. And so that's one thing that a lot of people are saving And they're going to be put in a position where eventually you might think you've got 100k saved, and that 100k can become zero in an instant, and then you become poor, and then you become stuck, right? And so one of the things that a lot of us people who are building our arcs are doing are things like buying gold, buying silver, buying things that actually have value. And that's what I'm saying, it's time to build the ark. For me, I've been focusing on the last couple of years, and I will be, on building an ark. How do I live the most independently? How do I self-sustain? Because here's the problem. The reason why I think so many of the governmental figures and whatever and what have yous have come together to try and get us to be so reliant on them is so that they can be in control of what we do. Because if they say, well, we're going to turn off your electricity and we're going to stop your water and everything because you don't agree with what we're doing, or you're not doing what we're telling you to do, that's what they're going to start to do. That's exactly what they're going to start to do. And then you're going to find yourself being involved in things you don't understand. And just like how this injection everybody was taking has started to backfire, I've done videos about that recently, these decisions are also going to backfire in the long run. Do I believe that we were already at the mark of the beast? No. Do I believe we're building up to that? Yes, I do believe we are. And here's the thing, guys. It all comes down to free will. I've said this to you guys before, that we have free will on this planet. We have free will on this earth. And God, the way God set things up is everything that we need is free. Everything that we need, and even a lot of the things we enjoy, are free. You can freely, well, you should be able to freely go and pick fruits and vegetables. You should be able to freely go and kill animals and either create clothes or eat meat or whatever. You should be able to freely go cut down trees, build yourself shelters. Guess what else you can do freely? Have sex, create children, build a family. Everything that God intended is free. But why do we not look at it like that? Because the powers that be and the matrix itself has chipped away at our freedom by getting us to trust in them to do all of these different things. And here's the problem. When that matrix sinks, when God decides to send the flood, which, by the way, scientifically, archaeologically, 12,400 years ago, there was a cataclysm. A cataclysm where a lot of the icebergs melted, right? And then it's caused a flood on Earth, which is what I believe. This is what the archaeologists say. They don't believe it in the, or some are, actually, a lot of archaeologists don't want to acknowledge this, because if they acknowledge it, it means that they have to acknowledge there was a civilization of giants at that time. And if they acknowledge that, they have to acknowledge that we are not the best version of humanity that ever existed. And that goes against all the matrix stuff they're trying to teach us now. So they actually don't acknowledge that, but they do acknowledge that there was an event that took place, I think it was 12,400 years ago. You guys can go and look this up for yourself. And I believe this was the flood of Noah in the Bible, because it also says in the Bible that it will be again as it was in the times of Noah. So I think we're going to start to be normalized. Why do you think they're trying to normalize all of a sudden? As the pandemonium started, they're now acknowledging aliens, and now spiritual things are becoming a thing. Now we're doing Mount Sinai, the 11 commandments. Watch how normal it's going to be for inhuman people to be created. We've got cloning. Guys, you can literally Google human and men cloning. You'll see pictures how scientists have been cloning animals and people together, right? Now, this is me going really, really off the field. And if you don't believe in that, that's not even as important for the arc stuff I'm talking about. What I'm trying to say to you guys, what I'm trying to relay to you guys is that if this is true, right? Let's just say if. I believe it is true, and I believe we are moving into those times. That's why I have been focusing. That's why I really don't care even about half this social action stuff. I think it's a distraction so they can buy themselves some time to continue their plots and plans for destruction, continue their indoctrination and brainwashing, so that by the time we realize what's going on, we were too busy arguing about, oh, am I marginalized because I'm a woman? Am I marginalized because I'm black? Am I marginalized because I'm LGBTQ+, right? That we're already just going to agree to everything that we're doing because we're going to be desperate. We're going to be desperate, because that's what they're going to do. Do you know what they're going to do? They're going to let everything go downhill. This is what's going to happen. Everything's going to go downhill, and then they're going to be like, well, guess what, guys? We know that this is just what's happening. They always do this, the governments. They're always like, oh, we just don't have the money. We just don't have this. But guess what, guys? We know you guys are struggling as well, so we'll give you the money. We'll pay for your this. As long as ... And that's where the contracts come into, and that's where free will comes back into the picture. Because they cannot do the kingdom of darkness, even the matrix, nothing can do anything without having a legal right. Why do you think that the enemy was portrayed as the police, as the law in the matrix? Do you see what I'm saying? And so what you should be doing in your life right now is thinking, how am I going to prepare for the times at hand? How am I going to least depend on the government, right? I've been looking into things like building wells, starting farms, looking things for myself, having electricity generators. How do you get solar panels to work on your house? Things you can buy. Owning your land to the point where no one can not own your land. You know what? Another thing is that they really don't like, which is why we keep hearing these stories, the right to bear arms. Because guess what? Since 1970, since when the times when it was only people, American citizens were only allowed to even just use like shotguns, not even the way that you can own lots big, like a lot more guns today. that was one of the biggest threats. One of the guys who used to work in the entertainment industry, who used to work as one of the witches, by the way, in the entertainment industry, he said that, and he walked away from that, and then he's now in a mental institution in South Carolina because he's having the Andrew Tate story of the 3 strikes, and if you come against the kingdom of darkness, the Matrix, they're going to try and shut you up. But he was one of the highest level executives in the entertainment industry, and he said that the right to bear arms is one of the biggest threats to whatever's happening. I won't call it what I know it's called, right? Because that means that the American public, or the public in general, can fight back if the government starts acting crazy. So it's another control tactic. They want to make sure that people can't fight back. They want to make sure that you're in such a subdued position that even if when we start to do crazy enough stuff, we'll still do it, and we won't care about how you feel because we can control you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's why I'm saying, guys, it's time to build your ark. Now, I'm not saying build a physical ark like Noah did, right? When I'm saying build the ark, think about it, like Noah spent, I think it was like I can't remember how many 100 years he spent building that ark, right? God always gives a warning. God always lets his people know in advance. That's why I say, guys, it's been years now that I've been building my ark, because I realized a lot of the things I was focusing on, I was wrong. God was showing me, listen, you don't have as much time as you think, blah, blah, blah. And I was literally crying out to him. I was like, God, we need time. I need time. I need time to like get stuff together. I need time. You can't let whatever's coming happen just yet. But I do believe the judgment of the Lord will fall on the world for 2 reasons. Number one, because I believe he wants to show the world that his power is real, because a lot of people don't believe in it, because we've been so deluded, we've been so brainwashed and indoctrinated by the Matrix that people don't even believe in the things of the spirit anymore, let alone God himself, let alone God's actual power. Even Christians today are second guessing if the Holy Spirit is even still alive, right? Second of all, he has to show the kingdom of darkness, like, you guys need to stop, right? Because people need to see that the kingdom of darkness isn't thriving the way they think. This is why I say to you guys that I have a whole playlist talking about like selling your soul to the devil. And the reason for that is because I've noticed a lot of people who've sold their soul to the devil think that, oh, there's no way out of this now. I've sold my soul to the devil. I'm doomed. I'm doomed to go to hell. I did what I did and I just have to deal with it. And that's another lie straight from the pits of hell. So I think part of God showing his judgment a lot of the time is him displaying his power so that people have an opportunity to believe, because we are moving into the end times. If you read the words of Jesus and what he says is going to happen, he was saying this to the disciples. Remember, he was saying this to the disciples when he came along, which was 2,000 plus years ago now, right? Because we started counting our years. When did we start counting? Jesus, right? And so he was saying this to the disciples then. They probably thought soon was soon. But listen, it's been a couple thousand years. It's very possible, even if you just think about it from a logical perspective, that we could be moving into the times of this type of stuff happening, right? And in the world, because it's not just going to go forever. God's just not going to sit back. And I think this is what people underestimate. God does not just sit back and just let things get crazy, but he has a tendency, I've noticed from reading the Bible, he will wait till things are the most extreme and negative they are, because he knows that's when he has the maximum impact. He will continually let the kingdom of darkness think that they're winning, right? So they get caught up in their pride and they're like, yeah, we can't do anything. Even God can't sink the Titanic. People always have to start comparing themselves to God as soon as they think that, oh yeah, we've done all of this and God can't do anything. He's not doing anything. He loves that. I've noticed he loves when people are getting to that, and the people of the world are like that now. They're not even hiding it. All of them are just like Lil Nas sliding down the stripper pole, making it seem like hell's going to be a good time, because they actually think they've outdone God. I think he waits for that moment. I think he waits for that exact moment, because that's the exact moment when his power will be the most incredible thing ever on earth to ever witness. And the people will be given a serious chance. Like, if at that point when God does this, right, and you see everything that happens and you still don't believe, you can't hold him against it. You can't hold that against him. That's down to you. He showed you what he was capable of, right? And in that moment, like I said, it'll be judgment, but there'll be two sides of the judgment. There'll be the judgment for those people who are on the negative side, who've planted bad seeds all this time, and there'll be the judgment for the people who planted good seeds, right? And for a season, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, interested in the Lord and whatever, and of course it will come back to where we are now, just as it always does. But the point is that God is giving people a chance, and the point is that those of us who are alive today, when this happens, this is a generational opportunity for a lot of us today. This is a time-changing thing, right? There's going to be a flood, and it's going to be horrible for the people who are caught on the wrong side. It's time to build your ark. And all I would say to you guys is my recommendation: speak to the Lord and ask him what he wants you to do to prepare in these times. Because all I'll say is, I know of the real Christian community that I know of who is Holy Spirit led. They've been preparing. They've been stocking up for famines. They've been buying golds and silvers. They've been trying to learn how to live more independently. A lot of people worldwide are doing this as Christians. We're all having these same convictions. We're all having these same dreams, these same visions, these same, like I said convictions already. Maybe that's because we sense something is coming. God is warning us. You can call me a Looney Tune. You can call me whatever. I'm telling you this, guys, because I'm trying to give you an opportunity. My channel is literally here, guys. I literally say so much of the stuff I say on this channel because I'm trying to break you guys out of the matrix mentally. I'm trying to let you know what's going on so you can be saved. So you're not on the other side of what happens when it all comes down. So it's time to build the ark. And if you guys want me to do more videos on this build the ark concept and things and tips and tricks of things that I recommend you do, and a lot of companies who are supporting this type of stuff now as well, by the way. There's a lot of companies that will change all of your cash into gold for you and you can store it. There's a lot of really helpful tips about like farming and stuff, because these are the basics to me. I'm looking at the life basics: where you live, how you eat, drink, how you have, like the electricities and stuff, owning everything. Because remember, what is it that the World Health Organization keeps saying? You won't own anything, but you'll be happy. Why are they trying to reinstill that thought process? You won't own anything, but you'll be happy. Because they'll give you what you want, thinking that, oh, because my bills, my house, my food is covered. But at what cost? And that's what they won't tell you now. And they'll make it in the beginning seem like, oh, it's not that much to ask. We're just asking this and that. And you're like, oh yeah, that's all right. I just have to do this. Oh, I just have to take this injection. Oh, I just have to have this mark. See how that goes? And guess what? Just like what happened in the previous pandemonium in the last couple of years, you won't believe it, you won't see it until it's too late. And that's why I'm trying to tell you guys this stuff now, because I love you and I really want to see you all survive and thrive, and I want to see us in the winning team. I can't wait for us all to be laughing at the times to come. This is what talks about in the Bible, Proverbs 31. It says she laughs at the times to come. Why am I mentioning that? Why does she laugh at the times to come? I laugh at the times to come because I'm not in shock. That's why I'm not stressed, guys. I'm not stressed seeing, oh, we're losing electricity and all. I'm not stressed about any of this. You know why? Because God has told us this stuff from before. He's told a lot of this stuff from before. He's warning us about what's happening. And so when it happens, we're just like, yep, we knew this was happening. So God, what's happening next? What do we need to prepare for next? So that's why I have the winning team. It's for the people who are ready to be in that state, the people who want to build their ark. Because I'll tell you guys something. I'm not going to get caught lacking for nothing when I got the Lord in my life, and he's the one who knows what he's doing, and he's the one who's going to do what he has always done, which is show his power on earth, bring his judgment righteously and rightfully and fairly. He's giving us a chance. He's giving us a warning. I've said this. God always gives warnings. He doesn't just do things out of nowhere. It's just we tend to ignore them. He's going to bring it, and the people who knew were wise enough to trust in the wisdom of God, because that's true wisdom, is to trust God completely and totally and utterly, are going to be on the winning side, and the fools are going to catch themselves slacking or lacking, and they're going to be the own writers of their own destruction. And that's all I got to say on that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe if you're feeling the vibe and you want to join the tribe. Don't forget to like this video if you've enjoyed it. If life's a game, let's play to win. Let's build the ark. Let's play to win, guys. Come on. God bless every single one of you, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.